Welcome to another edition of Smart Chat here on YouTube.com. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't done so, please do so right now. And I was watching a little bit of NHL, a little bit of the Rangers, Ottawa Senators, and this name came back to me, a name that you probably have heard or you probably have not heard. The name is Alexandre Daigle, considered one of, if not the greatest NHL busts. He's comparable, if you're not familiar with hockey, he's comparable, I would say, probably to Ryan Leaf of being a bust. Daigle was drafted in the 93 draft, first overall by the Ottawa Senators, and Daigle, quite honestly, failed to live up to the high expectations that he had. They considered him that he would be the next Wayne Gretzky, and even at this point with players such as Malkin, Sidney Crosby, even Jerome McGillna from a couple years back, no one has been close to being Wayne Gretzky. That's a high bill to live up to. He was drafted by the Senators, like I mentioned, in the 93 draft. So much so that Senators were so after him badly that they were accused of deliberately losing games late in that 92-93 season, their first in the NHL, in order to guarantee that first overall selection. Prompted an investigation by the NHL, who soon, because of this, implemented a draft lottery to prevent such things from happening again. The Senators, subsequently finished last in the 92-93 league standings, and thus securing the rights to the first overall draft pick, and they picked Alexandre Daigle. As the draft approached, however, if you remember back then, the Quebec Nordiques were high after Alexandre Daigle, so much so that they were willing to, offer star players for him. Olin Nolan, Peter Forsberg, Ron Hextall, and even draft picks. But obviously Ottawa management disregarded all offers. To give you an idea of how high Daigle was considered, he was drafted ahead of Chris Pronger and Paul Correa. Picked second and fourth at that time, respectively. He subsequently, in Alexandre Daigle, received the highest starting salary in league history at that point. 5 years, $12.25 million, leading to the introduction of a rookie salary cap just a few years later. Regarding his draft position, he ultimately said, "I'm glad that I got drafted first because no one remembers number 2. Daigle initially seemed destined to live up to the high draft position, high draft pick, scoring 20 goals, 51 points in his rookie season, which at that point the Senators had little offensive support. However, he was never really able to reproduce the dominance he displayed in junior and the stardom that the Senators and the league had hoped for failed to materialize. He scored just 20 or more goals twice in his rookie year and in 96-97, never registering more than 26 goals in a season. He was often criticized for a lack of effort and motivation, with his long-term contract ultimately being partially to blame. Accused of late-night partying, caused friction with Alexei Yashin, who Daigle was outplayed by in every season that they were teammates. Subsequently, if you look at the records, both entered the league in 93-94 and were promoted as future stars of the franchise at that point at the cover of the Senators yearbook. Management, however, was really after Daigle over Yashin, and this made really Yashin upset and caused friction ultimately. During the 97-98 season, after 4.5 seasons, 74 goals and 172 points in 301 games, Daigle was traded to the Flyers in exchange for Prospel and another first-round bust, Pat Falloon. With the Flyers, Daigle only scored 31 points in 68 games. 99 of January, Daigle was traded to the Edmonton Oilers, who later that same day traded him to Tampa Bay for Alexander Semenov. So, eventually he made his rounds to my Rangers, and he only played 32 games, 6 goals and 6 assists for 12 points, and subsequently released. He was out of hockey by the age of 25. He always, said that he really did not like hockey. He stuck with it because he knew he had talent. He went on into entertainment, realized that he needed a steady income, came back, and attempted to come back with the NHL. After a 2-year absence, mid of 2002, he ultimately tried out for the Pittsburgh Penguins, made the team, but was then sent down to the AHL. After being released by the Penguins, he signed as a free agent with the Minnesota Wild. Impressed the Wild coaching staff, was able to make the team. Daigle was able to match his career high point total, finishing with 51 points, 20 goals, and 31 assists. And that was pretty much the end of it when in 2006 Daigle was waived by the Wild, sent to the AHL rather. After the AHL, he went on to play Europe for HC Davos, and he has not, been playing since 2010. So one of the greatest busts in Alexandre Daigle. That name just came up to mind as I was watching the Rangers Senators. Should've, would've, could've. Hate to see. Now, no one really knows what happened as to why Daigle was never really able to live up to the hype. Because it did seem that first year he had it. So, just wanted to go over one of what I consider the NHL busts. Let me know what your thoughts are. Who are some of the busts from other sports that you consider? Rate, comment, subscribe. My email's found below. Check out my other channel. And until next time, adios, over and out.